First, Mayor, I mean, the basic question. It's like, why are you running for reelection?
Well, thank you for that question. Maui is emerging out of the most horrific pandemic and such downturn in our economy and health scare that there's so much more that needs to be done. And we are here at this juncture where recovery is on the horizon and now changing our environment, changing our economy, working together with this community to make it a better place than we started out with in 2019. We went through fires and storms and a pandemic and so many other challenges, not unusual for most counties throughout the nation and in the state of Hawaii. But here we are at a real pivotal point where we could really make a difference for generations to come. I have children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, and I see the future. And it's not great if we don't do what we need to do now to make things better economically, environmentally, and socially.
And one of the biggest things people on Maui talk about is the cost of living. You mentioned your kids and grandkids. People say, they can't afford to live there. The average home price being, over $1 million now. What would you do in your next term to tackle affordable housing?
Well, right now in the queue, I call it, or in the pipeline, we've got about 3,000 units already, some of them breaking ground. This coming Monday, next week Monday, we have a 346 unit apartment complex right here in Central Maui that'll be breaking ground, affordable rentals along with some market rates. We have 1,517 with the Wailuku, or I should say the Waikapu Town Country Development, of which 500 would be it would be workforce housing. We have 560 units to be built across the street by the county. So there's a lot of development over the next 3 to 5 years that will hopefully do two things: drive the price down and level the playing field for our working people. We're subsidizing heavily in many of these areas. Our county, the Maui County, has committed to bring infrastructure and other amenities to the property line so that it will be cost effective for developers, and that cost will be passed on to the residents who buy into these areas. Also, we have almost 1,300 affordable rentals that are in process that will be built or will be started within the next 12 to 18 months. And that will help bring down rental prices also. It is in the lack of inventory that's really hurt Maui County and really hurt many of the counties throughout the state of Hawaii.
And another issue people bring up is over tourism. I know you obviously have the TAT that's being collected, but what would you want to see the county do to make sure that TAT goes to addressing destination management and things like that?
Well, I believe we all have to work together. Again, collaborating with the community, the hospitality industry, private and public sector agencies to make sure that we do not degrade and destroy our resources. One of our biggest resources is our people. People tend to forget that what makes Hawaii so unique compared to other places in the world is our spirit of aloha. And that's not something you just grow into. You have to learn it. You have to be a part of it. And those who are born and raised here have it a lot better than those coming in. Some of them learn it. And I know you, Tom, you've learned it, so I know you understand it. But many of them don't understand it and don't understand what aloha means. It's our way of life. And so preservation of our culture is very important, keeping that spirit of aloha alive and well, and making sure that our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, and generations to come have a true chance to live here with livable wage jobs, with opportunity to own or rent a decent place so that they can live here, raise their families here, and enjoy everything that we enjoyed as we grew up.
And how do you sort of manage that? Because, I mean, anytime there is a new development, I mean, legally anybody could jump in and buy it, whether it be these mainland investors, people from overseas. Is there anything at the county level that can be done to make sure that these developments stay in local hands?
Well, we're working on some ways that we could invest in it and then keep it in perpetuity, something like what Hawaiian Homes has done, where you never own the land, but you own the structure on it. something of that nature can be developed, and we're working on that right now. With the help of the council and other agencies, our Maui Island plan developed some ideas that I'm taking root with. And so we're really moving in that direction, that we will take care of our long-term multi-generational residents, make them the first priority when it comes to either renting or buying, and making sure that it stays in that perpetuity, because the land is never owned by the developer or by the person who buys it, like Hawaiian Homes, so that can be perpetuated for years to come.
And something else that we hear from people running for offices across Hawaii is another one of these buzzwords: diversifying our economy. What specifically, other than tourism, what are some other industries that you want to see recruited to Maui, and how would you want to see the county recruit those other industries?
As I mentioned, livable wages are very important. Wellness and health is one of the first things we look at. Technology, agriculture. When you put those three together, you get a winning combination. Agriculture can provide us sustainable foods that we don't have to depend on shipping or be so dependent on outside sources of food. Secondly, it gives us a sense of stability, and that's not very important. It also gives us wellness in this equation. Let's say we become the capital of wellness for the state of Hawaii or for the nation, whatever it might be. We can attract people to get well, stay well, but also we would have the opportunity for our people to benefit too. Because why? First of all, you have equipment and facilities built to help these people stay well and get well, and that will be available to our residents. We have a critical shortage of doctors, nurses, and physicians in other areas such as PT, mental health aids. We have a lot of shortcomings here. But if we built an industry that depended on those types of people and trained our local children to take these jobs on instead of going to the mainland where they have the livable wages and they are able to become part of the of that economy, also by having what we said earlier, facilities for them to live in, units that they can own or rent. So then now they feel like they can be well, stay well, be economically viable. And, that's where government can help doing many of these, what I call ancillary services, to help get that started. And with the private sector and nonprofits, we could become the wellness center of the Pacific right here in Maui County.
And some jobs that you're having trouble filling on Maui, this massive MPD shortage that we've covered before. There have also been complaints about morale in the department. What would you do to address the MPD shortage, especially with crime rising on Maui?
Well, we've talked to both the union and their representatives and the department heads. We have looking at some programs where we can train and help develop more culturally sensitive police officers who understand the people of Hawaii. Maui is a very unique and diversified group of individuals that live here, and that they need to have a better understanding of what our police and police efforts are. If you can't afford to live here, guess what? You move to Washington or somewhere else. And partly, the other part of it is with the morale issue, we're working on behind the scenes to see what we can do along with the commission to make things better with retention and recruitment and bonuses maybe put out there that they'll help people stay here, want to work here. But again, we got to go back to the core root. We need to make sure that they have workforce housing that's available for them to stay and raise their families here.
Have you spoken with the chief about these issues that have come up?
We have had conversations in this area, and he's been very, very receptive. But there's a lot of legal issues that have come up, and so I'm not at liberty to go into any details.
Another big issue, especially on the east side of Maui, is the ongoing water rights issues and some of the water diversion that's been going on there. Are there any changes that you think need to be made with that?
Well, first of all, many of these historic problems that have occurred were developed because we allowed individuals or companies to build what they built to bring in water to Central Maui or to take it to other places. Now we know what the residual effect is. And so we, as a county, and as well as individuals, need to come to the table to make sure we all understand what our needs are, what our desires are, and how we can protect the aho po'aho system, which is what starts on top of the mountain, ends in the ocean, and is a sustenance for everybody in between. So we're working on that, whether it's an authority, whether it's just, getting the state sometimes out of our way with the State Water Commission. There are issues that we need to all sit down and discuss. I'm positive that people here in Maui County are beginning to learn that when we sit down and leave our pride at the door, we can work together. And I will convene a group of people that have and continue to want to work for solutions, not just the problem itself.
And some of these problems have been going on for a while. What do you say to voters on Maui that might then want to go in a different direction when they see these things happening?
Well, it's your choice. First of all, it is a choice. But we have worked very hard. I've kept this community safe and healthy to the best of our ability over the last 28 months. No one could have foreseen a pandemic of this magnitude, which destroyed our economy and literally shut down our state. Now Maui County and the rest of the state is reopened up. And we know that diversifying our economy is really pivotal because these kinds of issues may happen in the future. And when we have all our eggs in one basket, it makes it very difficult. However, it is people that make the difference. And I think we are a very resilient community. Most of the people I deal with and most of the people I deal with throughout this county have been respectful, have worked real hard. And I really look forward to making the next 4 years the years that they have looked forward to, with the changes and the development, really quality development and the management of tourism, so that we can all look back in 4 years and say, we got the job done.
Anything else, Mayor, you wanted to add or I forgot to ask you?
Well, no, I think you've covered most of the important subjects. Really, Maui County, again, I will repeat, is a very resilient county. That's why we call Maui no Kauai. We take care of our kupuna. We take care of our keiki. We take care of the special needs people that we have in our community. And we've been renowned in that area. And we continue to work to improve that. But together, we will come out of this pandemic Maui Nui strong. I'm excited for the opportunity to continue serving the people. I hope that they will see what I've done and vote accordingly. But I leave it in their hands and I leave it in Keakua's hands.
All right. Well, you summed it up. Well, we appreciate it, Mayor. Thanks so much for talking with us today.
Thank you, Tom. You have a great day. God bless you and aloha.
All right. You too. Take care. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.